Well, let's move on now to the near collision at New York's JFK Airport involving an Air Canada flight arriving from Toronto. This comes almost exactly a month after a runway collision at another New York airport, LaGuardia, that killed 2 Air Canada pilots. Nobody was hurt in this incident, which happened Monday night, but it was a close call. In a moment, we'll bring in our aviation analyst, but first, let's play an excerpt of the radio transmission. This is when air traffic control urgently warned the Air Canada plane that another aircraft had deviated from its path.
Climb maintain 3000.
Climb maintain 3000, Dash 554.
The traffic off your left is overshooting the parallel.
TCAS, all right.
Yeah, that guy overshot the final Dash 554. Do you still want to, you know what, fly runway heading maintain 3000.
Yeah, runway heading, climbing 3000, Dash 554.
Air Canada confirming the incident involved an Air Canada Express plane and an aircraft from the U.S. regional airline, Republic Airways. Air Canada says the flight crew received a traffic warning notification and instruction from air traffic control, which we just heard. Their plane landed safely. The Federal Aviation Administration says the Republic plane missed its intended approach path and ended up too close to the Air Canada jet's path. The FAA is investigating. For more analysis on this, let's bring in aviation journalist and pilot Mark Miller. He's here in Vancouver. And Mark, first of all, how close a call was this?
Well, they were within 350 feet of each other, the parallel runways, which are actually substantially further than that apart. I did a bit of a calculation. Both airplanes were going about 135 knots, say 150 miles an hour. And they had a sort of angle of closure of about 30 degrees. And by that calculation, they were within about 2.5 seconds of impact.
Wow.
It is
thanks for the details. But that to me as a non-pilot sounds dangerously close. How would you assess it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the amount of time it takes you from to go through like a 4-lane intersection, at 50 miles an hour. It is very close. This is a very, very concerning incident, Ian. And, when I look at the transcripts and I've listened to the tape now 4 or 5 times, it seems that the Air Canada flight was on a precision approach, an ILS approach. This is a very exact process, both in terms of like altitude and horizontal displacement. So the Air Canada plane this is called a precision approach because it is precise. And the other airplane, this Republic airplane, a commuter also, same airplane, by the way, same kind of airplane, an Embraer 175, it was on a non-precision approach. It was on a visual approach, which is the least precise approach to a parallel runway. And when you study the tape and the transcripts, you hear Air Canada confirming they are engaged on this precision approach. And then you hear the Republic airplane say they have the runway in sight, they have the airport in sight, and they start to turn towards it, but they turn towards the wrong runway. They turn towards 17 right, not 17 left. So I imagine they were mistaken in the airplane. They were perhaps distracted or focused on the wrong runway. And it looked like they were headed for the wrong runway.
Okay, to that point, let's play another audio excerpt of the air traffic control transmission. Here we go.
Clear to land 31 right, Jazz 554.
Brickyard 4464, speed is your discretion. Let me know when you pick up the field.
All right, speed our discretion. The field is inside. Brickyard 4464.
Brickyard 4464, you are cleared to visual approach 31 left, and all the aircraft that are at your 12 o'clock will be landing on the 31 right.
Excellent. Cleared visual 31 left. Thank you, Brickyard 4464.
Okay. As you listen to that, Mark, what's significant about it?
Well, there you have it. You heard Air Canada confirm they were on the precision, and then you heard Brickyard say airport in sight, and they're headed for, they did say 17 right, 17 left rather, which was the proper runway, but for whatever reason, they flew through that approach path towards where Air Canada was going. The controller actually told Air Canada that there was another airplane that was going to land next to them. So basically, don't be worried. Well, it turned out they needed to be worried. So worried that the collision system in both airplanes ended up going off, and the collision system in the tower, the warning system went off. So, we played that clip earlier, and you could hear the female controller. I mean, she To me, she just sounds incredulous. She just can't believe what she just saw or heard happen. I have not actually heard or seen a piece of tape quite like this before.
And on YouTube, there's a portion of the tape where whoever put it together plays, simultaneously the air traffic controller talking to the Republic plane and that controller you were just talking about talking to the Air Canada plane. It's worth finding anyone who cares about this stuff because it is fascinating. A few good things happened here, Mark, I think, but you tell me. I think the two air traffic controllers performed perfectly. I think the proximity warnings probably helped, warn the pilots. And in the end, they came close, but they avoided a collision. How would you assess those things?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this happened at probably, one of the busiest times of day at JFK. It's a very busy airport, mid-afternoon. It's so busy that 17 right has a different controller and 17 left has a controller. So they're actually, it's almost like they're operating two airports in parallel with each other. When you listen to that tape, everything is working right, except for, unfortunately, the guy in that Republic plane, the American Airlines commuter. He sounds not in the loop, Ian. When you listen to the tape earlier, if you get a chance to listen to that, he has to ask for a frequency to be confirmed. It's kind of a bit unusual. And then after the incident, he has to ask a second time the controller to give him instructions as to what altitude to climb to. He's told after this near miss to go to 2,000. Well, again, he has to ask. It's possible this is a very, very green pilot in this airplane. And in the United States, they have a waiver that allows somebody with as few as 750 hours to sit in that right seat. So this speaks to experience or inexperience that we're seeing in the industry across the U.S. right now. And many professional pilots and airline watchers have raised concerns about this level of experience that the airplanes are having to go to. We don't know if it's because there's a lack of pilots or there's a lack of pay for pilots. People simply won't take those jobs on for the very low pay.
One last thing, Mark, listening to the air traffic control, there's a portion as the Republic plane is getting ready to land on the right runway with the right path to that runway. The controller says, when you're ready, I'm going to give you a phone number. And what do you think that phone call was about, Mark?
I've had to do that, Ian. I one time violated some airspace. I landed and they said, you're ready to take down a phone number. And I'll tell you, it's not a very pleasant feeling. And you get a talking to. This will be much more serious than that for this pilot and for this crew. There will be an investigation. I just want to add one other point on this, Ian. San Francisco, you've been into San Francisco and you know that there's parallel runways there. Very similar to this. The parallel runway landing has been changed at SFO just this month, in April of this month. Pilots are no longer allowed a visual parallel landing like they were doing at JFK because the FAA has deemed it simply just too dangerous. They're now staggering airplanes, which means more delays at SFO.
Mark, our program's always better for having you on it with your analysis of aviation. Thank you very much.
Okay, and have a good weekend.